I want to destroy the patriarchy. Absolutely demolish it.
Chanel Contos has led a crusade to have sexual consent education made mandatory in every Australian school.
I had a personal experience of being sexually assaulted when I was 13, but what was more of a kind of life-changing moment for me was when I was 15 and received consent education for the first time, and it was the first time I could call what had happened to me sexual assault, because I didn't know it was that before that. I just thought that was normal and thought that was what happened in sexual experiences because I knew no better.
After a year of campaigning, Australian politicians are listening.
I have received a commitment from all 9 ministers around the country that they are willing to and happy to start mandating consent education in the Australian school system.
It all started with an Instagram post in 2021. Contos asked her followers if they'd been sexually assaulted by someone who'd attended a single-sex male school in Sydney. Hundreds responded saying yes. After a staggering number of sexual violence testimonies to her inbox, she launched a petition, which now has over 44,000 signatures. The programme would start teaching concepts of consent and asking permission to as young as 5-year-olds during a child's first year at school. Several Australian states instituted consent education programs in their public schools, but it's not yet mandated at a federal level. The federal curriculum is reviewed every 6 years and was due for review in 2022. And so, Contos met with ministers.
And I invited Chanel to come along and present to all the education ministers. The knowledge of consent, especially amongst young people, is just not up there. So our work and Chanel's great work really coincided at the same time, and the review of the curriculum was a perfect opportunity to lean into this as a health measure for young people.
Whilst the revision to the curriculum will not be officially endorsed until after further work has been conducted, all state and federal education ministers have agreed to it in principle.
She is extremely impressive in the way that she's promoted this message and got the cut through. We're getting a sense that some states and territories will begin this process next year. Others may take a little while longer to implement.
Contos' goal is to continue striving for institutional change to prevent gendered violence and believes education and reducing taboo around these topics is key.
I have found it really therapeutic and healing in a way to see more and more people have the confidence to have these sort of conversations, because a few years ago I wouldn't have the confidence to have these sort of conversations with people who weren't close to me. And I think that's when I feel very happy and accomplished in this movement, when people tell me about conversations they've had with people that wouldn't have existed before. And I feel like that's where serious, long-lasting cultural change will come from in Australia.